friends, welcome to my channel. I'm Amy, and for those of you who are new here, I've been a full-time reseller for over 10 years now. I primarily sell on the Poshmark app, but I do dabble on other online platforms and I sell locally. Today I'll be doing another ship with me video. In these videos, I go day to day and I share the different items that I'm shipping out. I talk about how much I sold them for, what I paid for them, and what my profit was. So you want to be sure to watch all the way to the end because I always have interesting and unique items, and hopefully you can learn some new things to keep your eyes out for when you're out thrifting. So let's get started. These are sales from over the weekend, from Saturday afternoon, Sunday, and Monday morning. It was a pretty good weekend. Only 5 sales, but a couple high dollar sales, so I'm pretty excited to share those with you. The first item is a brooch and earrings set, and this is by Kramer, K-R-A-M-E-R. This set sold for $150. I am very excited. The set was marked on both the earrings and the brooch. I listed this for $169 or $189, I believe, and the buyer offered me that $150. So I decided to go ahead and accept that. Mainly because the brooch had a little solder break to it, so it wasn't in pristine condition. And I looked up comps on eBay and it looked like that was in the right range for a brooch and earring set like this in the condition that it was in. I'm going to give this a good amount of padding because I believe, based on this buyer's name and address, that this will be shipped, it will be freight forwarded, probably to Asia somewhere. Okay, so it sold for $150. I paid $5 for each piece at a small town thrift store, so a total of $10. After push fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $110. I'm absolutely thrilled with that profit. And it took maybe a month or two to sell, so not a super long time. If you are new to picking up jewelry, I would recommend that any marked piece you do research on sold comps, because a lot of vintage costume jewelry is surging in price right now, and I am seeing selling prices higher than I have ever seen, and I've been dabbling with jewelry for years and years. So definitely do your research before you just list the costume jewelry willy-nilly. So the next item is this vintage hair comb. And I believe this is in a Victorian style, but based on the construction, I do not believe that it is actually that old. I think it is just in that style. This sold for $30. It did have some oxidation and patina on the back. That's why I accepted a little bit lower offer for this. I have sold some other hair combs for very high prices. So also you do want to do your research when you are looking those up. I got this piece at the same small town thrift store and I paid $4 for it. Did I say it sold for $30? So after posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $20. That same day, I got 2 other hair combs. One already sold for $250 and then I have one left. So it was... I really scored a couple of times in a row at that small town thrift store. The next item sold is this pair of Birkenstock sandals. These are like new, or I mean, they're basically unworn. If you didn't watch last week's video, I went to an estate sale and I spent $890, which is an insane amount for me to spend. But the woman was I don't know if hoarder is the right word. She was a compulsive shopper and she shopped on QVC. There was so much, QVC and HSN. There was so much stuff there. I couldn't even believe it. I got multiple pairs of Birkenstocks, multiple handbags like Anushka and Patricia Nash, and over 150 pieces of jewelry. It was insane. I haven't even uploaded that haul yet, but I have been very motivated to get these listed and sell them to recoup some of that money, because that was a lot of money for me to put out. They sold for $60. All the Birkenstocks were $5. So after Posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $43. I might have been able to hold out and get a little bit more for the Birkenstocks, but like I said, I want to move them in and move them out. The next item is another very exciting sale that sold pretty quickly. And I also haven't gotten the haul video uploaded for this. I'm behind on my YouTube hauls, but it is this Tibi, T-I-B-I jumpsuit. Let's see. There we go. Can you see that? And it is full length pants. It has this cool kind of menswear blazer. I used oversized menswear blazer. I used, let's see, what was the other term? Androgynous, romper, boiler suit, everything that I can think of. I'm going to package this up off camera just to get it nice and neat. It sold for $211. Again, I'm not sure. It retailed for over $700. So maybe I could have got more, but I looked at comps for Tibi and the comps really were not that good. That was a somewhat recent style, I think in the last year. But I'm happy with the $211. I paid just $14 for this at the Goodwill. Can you guys even believe that people donate items that they paid that much for? I can't believe I found it either. So after Posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $154.80. If you enjoy these type of videos, I would love it if you would consider subscribing to my channel. It doesn't cost you anything, and I am trying to get to 10,000 subscribers by the end of 2024. As of the filming of this video, I think I'm at about 3,800, so I've got a ways to go, and your support and help really means so much to me. Okay, the next item is this vintage Ralph Lauren blouse. And it's hard to, oh, there, you can see it a little bit better. It has this beautiful, delicate lace work. And as you can see, this is the vintage polo Ralph Lauren label. I picked this and another similar blouse up at an estate sale a long time ago, and they sat in my death pile because they needed to be steamed. I know I do that. I'm terrible. I just wasn't very motivated to, you know, get them steamed up. And actually they also both needed some spot treatments. This sold for $60. So you want to keep your eyes out for this kind of antique Victorian looking Ralph Lauren, because there was some great comps for this style and label. I did have this listed considerably higher. I think at like $119, maybe even $129, but it had been listed for a few months and this buyer offered me $60. I thought that was fair, so I went ahead and accepted it because I had only paid $3 for this. Like I said, when I picked it up, I had no idea that, you know, it would have that much value. I just thought it was really pretty and I like picking up vintage items. So after Posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $45. These little plastic sheets that I'm using are from a roll, like the dry cleaners use, plastic garment bag roll dry cleaner. You can search that on Amazon. I picked mine up at an estate sale. I did recently find some that were biodegradable, which I am almost out of these. So if I reorder plastic, I may get that biodegradable stuff. Okay, so that is it for today, but don't go anywhere. I will be back in a second your time, in a couple of days my time, and I will see you in a minute. Hi again, it's Wednesday and I have a few more things to ship out. The first item that sold is this really sweet little dainty heart ring, and this sold to one of you, a subscriber. So thank you so much, Lorraine, for shopping my closet and supporting me and my channel. It just means so very much to me. I always appreciate your guys' kind comments and purchases, but of course you are in no way obligated to purchase anything from me. Today I am using this little plastic craft box. It is similar to the ones that I used to get from the dollar store, but they were out of those when I went this time, and those are 10 for $1.29, and these were 4 for $1.29. So I'm gonna have to go to our other Dollar Tree or dollar store and see if they have the ones that are 10 for $1.29, because that is a much better deal. This sold for $21. I had paid $4 for it. So after Posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $12.80. A nice little profit. I like to pick up sterling silver jewelry whenever I can find it for affordable prices. It's not always a super quick seller, but it sells eventually and it doesn't take up very much room. The next item is a pretty exciting sale, and I am happy to see this go. It is a vintage St. John belt. And of course, it's not going to cooperate with me, but it's this really chunky link. As you can see, it's Mark St. John there. And I picked this up a couple of years ago at an estate sale, which was a really amazing sale. I wish I would have had my YouTube channel when I went to that sale, because I got a ton of St. John stuff. I got quite a few pieces of Alexis Bitar jewelry, and let's see, what else did I get? 2 Michelle watches, just so much stuff. I think I'm gonna package this up off camera just because I have a feeling it is going to give me trouble. It ended up selling for $125. I would guess that this probably sold because of the mob wife trend. I did recently update the listing and add that to the description. I had it priced for significantly higher than that, all different prices. And when I got this $125 offer, I just said, yes, take it off my hands. I only paid $2 for it at that estate sale. So after Posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $98, which I think is really great. The next item that sold is this rhinestone cowgirl belt. And it looked in nice condition on the front and the outside, but on the back side, it was all cracked. And I didn't notice that it was, cracked like this when I picked it up. Otherwise, I think I would have skipped buying it, but it ended up selling for $31 and I only paid $2 for it. So I think that's pretty great for a, somewhat damaged item or flawed item. And as you guys have heard me say over and over again, still list your flawed items because they will inevitably sell. So it sold for $31. I paid $2. So after Posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $20.78. I'm going to finish packaging that up off camera. For both of these belts, I am going to use the box 1096L. It's just slightly larger than the small flat rate box. The next item that sold is another pair of these Birkenstocks. These are the Batula, I think is how you say it, from that recent estate sale. And actually, I didn't pick these up. My mother-in-law, I invited my mother-in-law to come with me because there was a ton of Jim Shore items there, and she collects Jim Shore. And so she picked these up for my niece, thinking that my niece might like them. And when I saw them, my niece is, what is she, 16? I knew she wouldn't like them, but I didn't say anything because, you know, 16-year-olds, you never know. And it's the thought that counts. So she showed them to my niece, and she, you know, made a teenager face and said no, she didn't want them. So my mother-in-law gave them to me to sell, which was great because that means that they were free to me. So let's see, they sold for $39 quite quickly. They were in really great condition. I had them priced a little bit higher, but my sales were kind of slow the last couple of days. So I sent out 20% off offers with just kind of shipping, and those sold. So after Posh fees and my cost of goods and the shipping discount, that made my profit $29.18. I am apparently pricing those Birkenstocks too low or at the right price because they are moving out, but that's okay. I am happy with that. The next item is this pair of somewhat vintage Levi's jean shorts, and these came as shorts. And they have the paper tag here, so that's one way that you can tell that Levi's are a little bit older. Also, if they say made in Mexico or made in USA, that can indicate that they are a little bit older. These were marked a size 10, but they were definitely a vintage sizing because they fit more like a 6 or an 8. So in my title, I put size 6/8. I listed them under size 8 in, you know, like the size tab on my listing. And then I wrote in the description that they were marked vintage size 10, but vintage sizing can run small, more like a 6 or 8. And I included all of the measurements. They sold for $28. I think they sold kind of quickly within a month or so. I only paid $1 for them. So after Posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $18.42. Anytime a clothing item will fit in one of these Tyvek envelopes, I will use it because it saves space and hopefully reduces waste. I'm not sure how well those recycle or not. I couldn't really find much information on them, but I'm always trying my best to use sustainable packaging and reduce waste, and we just all do the best that we can. So that is it for today, but I will be back in a few days with hopefully some big sales to share with you. Hi again, it's Friday and I've got quite a few sales to share with you. I was eager to accept offers on things the last couple of days, so there are a couple lower priced things, but I am motivated to move some stuff out and it feels really good. So the first item that sold is this vintage red coral necklace. Now this is probably from maybe the 90s or the 2000s, but it had some really great chunky coral. And I am filming this, I think today is March 7th or 8th. And sadly, Iris Apfel passed away a few days ago. And I noticed that my items that I had used her name as a keyword in have gotten attention lately. And this was one of those because, you know, she always wore the chunky necklaces. This sold for $110, which is really a great sale. I don't know a whole lot about coral, but I did look up how to test it to see if it was dyed, and this passed the test to show that it wasn't dyed. So I listed it as natural coral. Fingers crossed that I am not wrong about that. As I've said before, you know, I am not an expert on all things and I just do my best. Also, last week that Mona lady, Poshing with Mona. She got arrested for telling all these lies and scamming people. And I'm not saying that I am like that. I'm, try and be as honest as they come. But my point is that you can't always believe everything that you see on the internet or on YouTube or on Instagram. We're just people and we're just doing our best. She obviously, or allegedly, was a crook and a scam artist. So just be careful who you interact with and put your trust in over the internet, because there are a lot of people who will try and prey on vulnerable people. Anyways, I just had to say that because I think that's really sad that she took advantage of quite a few women who, especially business women who had worked hard to make money and make a name, and she took money from them, lying about things. So if you haven't heard about that, which I can't imagine you haven't, but let's see, Jade with Fashion Without Trashin on Instagram, she put it in her highlight reel, all of the information, and it was court document information, not like rumor or gossip. So I found that kind of interesting to hear about what this woman and her husband was charged with. Okay. So this sold for $110. I paid $5 for it. So after Posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $83. I am going to add some more packaging in a box to that, but I don't think you guys want to see that. Couple more belt sales, which I'm happy about because I had kind of a dry spell and I thought, oh my gosh, did I tell too many people about belts and now mine aren't selling? But I think there's enough customers for all of us, so hopefully that will never happen. This one is a cool dark gray belt. It was by Sam Brown. It felt like really nice quality, but I found Sam Brown belts, but it was spelled differently with an E on the end, and this one did not have that. I priced it at $39 or $44, and it had been listed for a few months, and this buyer came in and asked if I would do $25 with discounted shipping. At first I didn't want to, so I sent him an offer for $27 with discounted shipping, which is just silly because that $2, only makes about $1.50 difference. I also sent out offers to the other likers and none of them bit, so I sent him a message and said, if you decline my offer, I'll send you an offer for $25 with discounted shipping. And I did, and he accepted. I paid $3 for this. So after Posh fees, my cost of goods, and that shipping discount taken out, my profit was $14.98. Still a nice profit. I'm not going to complain at all. The next item is just this simple, skinny white leather belt. It is bonded leather. I've said this many times. I do well with vintage white belts. Black belts are definitely my best seller, which makes sense because, lots of people wear black and black shoes. But I always pick up belts that are white, cream, or unique colors because for those of you who wear belts, you know that it can be kind of difficult to find belts in other colors besides basics for a reasonable price. This sold for just $15. Again, I kind of wanted to get a little more for this, but like I said, I wanted to accept offers. I only paid $1 for this. So after Posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $11, which is just fine for a $1 investment. Another pair of these Birkenstocks from that estate sale sold. These are the Batula brand. These sold for $50. I think I only have 1 or 2 pairs left out of all of the ones that I bought, and they're the Calceo brand that are left. But I guess I just don't buy Birkenstocks very much, so I was kind of hesitant, and apparently I should have just bought them all for $5, but I already felt like I bought it all at that estate sale. That's probably why I was a little more hesitant, because I had spent so much money. As you can see, I am out of or almost out. I just have a couple left of my plastic garment bag covers like I normally use. And I've been procrastinating. I haven't ordered, let's see, I want to do this. I haven't ordered any new packaging materials, so I'm just using this tissue paper from the dollar store because that's what I have. But comment down below what you guys use. If you have any suggestions. I do really like that plastic, but I really prefer not to purchase plastic stuff new if I can avoid it. Anyways, hopefully next week I'll make a decision and get some stuff ordered. In the meantime, I think that this is just fine. Okay, these sold for $50. I paid $5 a piece for them. So after posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $35. Very happy with those quick flips. Even though I might have been able to sell those Birkenstocks, I'm sure I could have sold some of those Birkenstocks for a little bit more. The next item is this really cute Blanc Noir. Not sure how you say that. And it's kind of has a perforated at the sleeves so you can see through it. I think this is a pretty expensive brand retail, but when I looked at comps on Poshmark and eBay, I'm seeing some lint on this. The comps weren't really that great. So I think I had it priced at $49. And I either sent out offers or I reduced the price, and this buyer bought it for $44. After she bought it, I did realize that I had Blanc spelled incorrectly. I had it B-L-A-N-D in the title. In the brand name, it was correct. But I thought I'd mention that one of you, and I apologize, I forgot to look at what your name was. One of you let me know that I had a typo in one of my other listings, and I really, really appreciate that. Don't ever hesitate to do that for me or other sellers. You know, just say it politely. But I may have been able to sell this quicker or for more had I had that spelled correctly in my title. So I do think people appreciate it when you let them know if they have a typo. Because if someone searched for this brand using the brand category, they would have found this. But if they searched for this just using the search results, mine wouldn't have shown up. Because I copy, whenever I write my title, then I copy the whole title and paste it into the description. So it was misspelled in the title and the description. Anyways, it's still sold for $44. I think I paid $3.50 for this. I didn't clearly write in my inventory which one it was, but I remember it was half off. So anyway, somewhere around there. So my profit after fees and cost of goods was $31.70. Still a nice little profit. Although when I was at the Goodwill looking up this brand, I did see some higher comps on the Real for this brand, but you know, you never know with the Real. The next item, oh, before I go on to the next item, so I did have a $720 sale on Chairish for some outdoor patio chairs, but I'm gonna wait to share it probably until next week because it is for local pickup, and sometimes those fall through. And so once I communicate with the buyer and confirm that they're going to pick it up, then I will share it with you. But that is very exciting. I also have someone coming tomorrow to look at a dresser for $800 that I have listed on Facebook Marketplace. So I know they are very interested because they made me an offer, but they have not seen it in person yet. So that's not a guarantee, but fingers crossed both of those go through, because that would be really great. I did just book, sorry, I'm chatty today. Hopefully you guys don't mind, but I did just book a flight to Phoenix, Arizona for 2 or 3 weeks from now. My husband has a training over there, and so his hotel room and rental car is paid for by his employer. So I just decided to go, and while he's in training, I'm going to hit up some thrift stores, lay out in the sun. I'm pretty excited to do that, and it will be about the 2-year anniversary of me starting YouTube. Plus, I made more than I've ever made before on YouTube in February, and that paid for my flight to Phoenix. So I felt like I deserved it. Maybe it's girl math or whatever, but I do. I work hard, and I just want to say thank you, because none of this would be possible without you guys and your kindness and your continued support. I probably wouldn't have kept going if you guys didn't leave me such wonderful, kind comments and continue to watch my videos. So I so much appreciate it. And this has been more than I have ever expected, more rewarding than I have ever expected it to be. Okay, so the last item for today is this soft surroundings kind of kimono open front top. And I also wanted this to sell for more. It was a size 2X. But I have too much clothes in my inventory right now, and I'm kind of thinking about stepping back from clothing a little bit, but I'm indecisive, so I may change my mind. I kind of want to move back towards focusing on jewelry more, just because I have trouble with clutter, as you can tell. I have trouble staying organized, putting things away, managing inventory, and jewelry is just easier for me. It takes up much less space. It's easier, you know, to organize and whatnot. So we'll see how that goes. If I can continue to source a lot of jewelry, then I'm going to lean into that more. Okay, so this sold for $20. It was like new. It still had the creases on it from being purchased, but I got this offer. This lady wanted to buy it. I picked it up because it was a size 2X, and soft surroundings seems to do a little bit better in larger sizes. I paid $5 for it, so after Posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $11. I'm not sure if I am going to ship tomorrow or not. If I don't, I will have T-Bird make an appearance. I'll try and remember to have her make an appearance anyways. Some of you ask, Kat, you've asked to see her, and you always leave the most thoughtful, clever, wonderful comments on my videos, and so I would like to do that for you. But I'll share what my total sales were even if I don't ship tomorrow. One more thing, I think I said this in the last video, but if you are getting into jewelry and you're picking up costume jewelry, keep your eyes out for Trifari, Hattie Carnegie, Hobie, what's the Miriam Haskell. All of those brands are blowing my mind right now. I have been doing more research on costume jewelry lately, and some of the sold prices for those brand and other brands are insane. I mean, like thousands of dollars. Now, that being said, they are not all like that. Like some Trifari sells for $5, $6, and some sells for $5,000 or $6,000. So all I'm saying is do your research before you list it. I saw a woman list and sell a Trifari brooch for $350, which I probably may have done the same thing unless I had done research recently. And that brooch Someone else had it listed for $6,000 and it's a costume jewelry piece. It doesn't mean they're going to sell it for $6,000, but I'm just saying that some of these pieces are going for crazy amounts. So if you want to try it out, keep your buy-in price low, you know, go to yard sales and estate sales this summer, buy it for 50 cents, $1, $2, maybe even $5, depending on what your cash flow is like. And then just take each piece and do a little research. That's how I learned about costume jewelry. My mom did teach me some things too, but her knowledge was from 20 or 30 years ago, and things have changed so much since then. Like Trifari wasn't selling for that much at that time. It was selling for higher amounts, but not that much. And so that is what I do. When I get a piece, I just do research on it and I look at sold comps on eBay. Particularly, I'll also, you know, if it's like a, let's say it's a Trifari bird brooch. So I'll look up Trifari bird brooch, but then I'll just look up bird brooch, plain and simple too, without Trifari on there to see what other brands are selling for too. And it really doesn't take that much time, you know, maybe 10 or 15 minutes, and you may not get a ton back from that research, but you may get a ton back from that research, or, you know, it may save you from losing money. You know, there's a few pieces that I've sold over the last year that I may have underpriced. I try not to focus on that, but I just want to share that with you so you guys can learn from my mistakes and hopefully make some big bucks. Okay, I hope that was helpful, and I will either be back to share what else I sell, or T-Bird will stop in to say hi. Okay, thanks so much, you guys. So T-Bird has decided to accept the invitation to make an appearance in the video today. She just got done eating some breakfast, so her face is a little messy, but she wants to invite all of you guys to subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, right on cue, there you go, give it a thumbs up, and comment down below. All those things really help us out. So my sales for the week ended up being a total of $1,019. Not as good as last week, but I am perfectly happy with that. My total cost of goods was $67.50. And my total profit after website fees, cost of goods, and any shipping discounts was $738.66. Thank you so very much for watching, and I will see you guys all again soon. Say bye-bye, T-Bird. Bye-bye.